Hi everyone, this is Mohi from Singapore Maths Academy. Welcome to another one of our videos for the 11 plus journey and our YouTube page too. I'm going to be taking you through a question found in Sevenoaks Grammar School, and it's a challenging question that relies on us to use the Venn diagram, probably the most efficient way to solve this question. But with this question, the Venn diagram is not so easy. Okay, it's not a standard Venn diagram that we kind of used to. So let's jump onto the board and figure out how to solve this. Let's have a read first. It says here that in a group of 50 girls, there are either, each one is either blonde or brunette and is either blue-eyed or brown-eyed. 14 are blue-eyed blonde girls, 31 are brunettes, and 18 are brown-eyed. How many are brown-eyed brunettes? That's the question we're trying to solve today. So it's a bit of a tricky question. So how we're going to do it? It's one that you might start to think about Venn diagrams because there's two things or four things, right? It can be a bit confusing. So it says there are 50 girls. So let's highlight something so that will be easier for us to kind of look at straight away when we need it. So there are 50 girls. So in all, they're going to be 50 in the Venn diagram. There are either blonde or brunettes, either blue-eyed or brown-eyed. And so that's a bit tricky. Okay, because normally in Venn diagrams, we normally have either two things, two circles, or three variables. Okay, so three circles. Four circles becomes a bit tricky, right? And that's not going to be a very standard looking Venn diagram. In fact, this is not a four circle Venn diagram. This is just a two circle Venn diagram. And so when we have four items, blonde, brunette, blue-eyed, and brown-eyed, what we would suggest is for you to have two circles. So let me draw my Venn diagram out. I'll have two circles, one and two. And in my two circles, I'm going to have one of each. So you've got blonde and brunettes. That's here, right? So let me write that down. That's here. And you've got blue and brown, right? Right, brown here. And that's eyes. Right? So I'm going to choose one variable from each set. So one from here. So I'm going to write blonde. And one for the eyes. Let's write brown. And so now I can start solving this question. Right? Because it says here 14 are blue-eyed blondes. So there's no blue eyes. This is brown. And so blue-eyed blondes must be here. There must be 14 blondes that are not brown-eyed because there's only brown or blue, right? And so there must be 14 blonde girls that are not brown-eyed. Okay, so there must be blue eyes. Okay, so what else do we know? Well, I know that it says there are 31 that are brunettes. That's a bit tricky now for me, right? Because brunette-wise, brunette's going to be all of this because that's other circle is blonde, and all of this as well. So I've got all of this section here, the brown-eyed that are not blonde, and all of this section which are neither blonde nor brown-eyed. So this would be brunettes. Let me write that down properly. That would be brunettes with blue eyes, right? So this section here, brunettes with blue eyes. This section here, brunettes with brown eyes. This section here is blonde with brown eyes. This section here is going to be blonde with blue eyes, right? So we've got to make sure we're really clear about each section. So now I'm going to get rid of this. Now that we kind of understand what each section represents, let's think about that. 31 that are brunettes. Well, that's tricky because I've said to you that that's going to be this section here and this other section here, which is tricky. So I'm going to reverse this. If there are 31 that are brunettes, then there must be 19 that are blondes. That makes sense, right? 19 blondes, 31 brunettes. if there are 19 blondes, 31 brunettes, altogether that's 50 girls. Perfect, right? Because there can only be brunettes or blondes. And so I know now that the blondes have to add up to 19. I've already got 14 accounted for here, blonde with blue eyes, and therefore 5 must be blonde with brown eyes, because 5 add 14 is 19. That's my 19 blondes. Right, so far so good. All done, right? 18 have brown eyes. Well, I already know that 5 have brown eyes and are blonde, and so the rest must be brown-eyed and brunettes. And that's this section here, right? 5 are brown-eyed and blonde. There must be 18 take away 5 is 13. There must be 13 that are brown-eyed and brunettes. So I've got 14 plus 5 plus 13 so far. I know there are 31 that are brunettes. I also know that this section here is all blonde, right? All of this is blonde. And so everyone else must be brunettes. That means that I've got 13 that are brunettes already. And I know 18, is it 18? 31 rather. 31, take away 13 is going to be 18. 18 that are going to be brunettes, okay? That are brunettes and blue-eyed. So I've got 18 blue-eyed brunettes, 13 brown-eyed brunettes, 5 blonde and brown-eyed, and 14 that are blonde and blue-eyed. How do I know this is correct? Well, I can just double check that all of this adds up to 50. Let's see, 14 add 15 is 19, add 13 is 32, 32 add 18 is going to be 50. So it adds up to 50, which is exactly what we wanted. Perfect, right? So what's the question? How many are brown-eyed brunettes? Brown-eyed brunettes, there are 13 that are brown-eyed and brunettes. So wrapping this up, just a question that we can use Venn diagrams with. It's not your standard Venn diagrams, because you normally have 2 or 3 variables with the Venn diagrams, right? Questions. Now this one has got 3 or 4 things, or 2 sets, which is hair and eyes, but each of those sets have 2 different things, a blonde, brunette, or blue-eyed and brown eyes. And so when we have 2 sets with 2 different options, it's best to choose one thing. I could have chosen brunette and blue eyes if I wanted, or even blonde and blue eyes as my 2 circles, and then solve from there. But I chose to just use blonde and brown hair, and I solved from there onwards. Be careful when you've got something like 31 that are brunettes here, as it says here. 31 brunettes, so we have to deduce that if there's 31 brunettes, then and there's only brunettes and blondes, then there must be 19 that are blonde, and that's how I can make the next step. If I miss that, then I would have not been able to solve this using the Venn diagram. But I hope that made sense. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and if you felt that this was helpful, please do comment and let us know that it was helpful so we can make more videos like this. Take care, everyone. Bye.